Hey Shelly, so I'm going to be reviewing your resume, and I'm going to start off with your address and your cell phone number and your email address. And it's good that you have all of that because when I first made my resume, I did not put my email address and my number, and that's apparently really, it's very important because they need to be able to contact you somehow. So I'm glad that you had that right off the bat. And so for your objective, I think that's very solid because it tells them exactly what you're looking to grow in and the administration management field. And when we look at your professional experience, it's pretty clear that you have a lot of experience as an administrator, which is it's good that you already have the background, over 15 years of it, which is amazing. The education that you put down is very solid as well because it shows that you worked on your Bachelor of Human Resources Management, which you completed in um, 2, 3 years, which is very impressive. I don't think they're gonna really, don't think they're gonna pay attention to exactly how long you did to complete it, but I think that's impressive. So shall I point that out? And for you're getting a second bachelor's, which is awesome. And um, yeah, you even have your high school in here, and you graduated in the top 15%, which shows that you, since the beginning, you put in your all into your work and to your class, and that's great. And so for the professional experience, 2004, 2007, no, November 2017 shows that you were an administrative coordinator. That's a really good experience, and they're gonna love all of it. So I also really liked how you had, so you have different action verbs, and the only thing that I would recommend is, so for the first one, it's the same, initiated and coordinated as the one down here. And it's not that there's anything wrong with it, but I think it might be good to, use different words because I remember watching um, our professor, Miss Ambrosi's, her like example, and she kind of made it clear that we should not um, use like the same words, and I could be wrong, so, but that's something that I might look into. And for the University Human Resources, that's very solid. Like oversees and coordinates the duties of the Employee Service Center. So supervises, coordinates. It's very clear, easy to understand what you did. And um, so the bartending job was a big part of your life. It's obvious because it was about 8 years. So I understand why you put it. And I might put a little more information as to how that helped you in the past. And I guarantee it helped you in many ways. So I'm very interested in seeing how. And also, administrative associate, universal university custodial services. It's important to put as well. And I'm glad that and for this one, you use different action verbs throughout the whole process, and that looks good. So as far as your next three, um, senior secretary, which um, hmm, okay, so that one is solid as well, and I, I'm not really sure what I would put another bulletin. I might, but I'm trying to figure out what you would say because that's very helpful right there. Just the fact that you're a senior secretary and clerical coordinator as well. I feel like they're very similar, but I could be totally wrong about that. I just know that, yeah, so it's a step up from it. And it's good to have that on there. And anything that I would change, not necessarily for those two. You didn't really have any information of what you did, but because as someone who doesn't know what a critical coordinator does, it might be useful for you to have some, like a bulletin or two of what you did during that. But I see that you did that down here, and I would like to know what the upgrades entailed. And it's like you used maintain twice, but that might be exactly what you did. Like there might not be another way to describe it. Like that you maintain the director's appointments and maintain financial records. Um, um, there might be you could probably find another action verb that could replace maintained. And I understand that since you have a lot of info on here, it might be hard to constantly change them. But I noticed that same down here as well for student clerical worker, maintained, and I also did the same thing on mine, and I had to go back and change some of it, so I understand. Maintained is a very important word when it comes to bookkeeping, clerical work, administration, and because you are literally maintaining a lot of records and stuff like that. So that's I can't really think of another word off the top of my head that I would use, so I totally understand why you would do that. And so professional skill development, have a lot of professional skill development I've noticed, and you've shown that you've taken the initiative and taken advantage of as many opportunities as you possibly could. Um, Values are very important. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I find that very interesting myself. Read the book. How to manage towards achieve objectives. Oh, projects meet deadlines. I think the error in the spacing of that. I think that's just my computer. So um, yeah, so you have quite a lot. It's a very long resume. That's something that I'm not sure if that's okay because I don't know how often. The book that we've been reading in the class kind of says that they don't resumes are not the most important thing. That's not what they look at first. It's better to just get a job through a friend and stuff like that. So I don't know if resume needs to be this long, but I also am very impressed by how much information you have on here because you have a long track record of skills and you've just built up this resume over years, and it shows that you are ready to be back in the workforce because you have always been in the workforce and you just know exactly where you want to be and what you need to do to get there. And I'm glad that you wrote all of this stuff about supervisory experience so that you supervised 3 work-study students, you mentored a coworker, and you supervised classified non-bargaining and students. And then, so I think that's solid section. The miscellaneous trainings. So you spelled miscellaneous. It's spelled with 2 L's, and that's something that I might change. But it happens. Like, I'm surprised that the word didn't pick that one up. I wouldn't have known either because it picked mine up. So when I spelled miscellaneous wrong. So the bloodborne pathogens, environmental health and safety. That's very interesting. I'm not really sure what that is, but it just seems like something that actually this seems cool. And software and computer knowledge. It's good that you have of a wide variety, and you included PowerPoint. Okay, so you've definitely worked with a lot of different softwares, and it's good, especially in the world of technology and the career force nowadays. It's very good that you have that much. The strengths, you have a lot of strength, and you use some of the action words are similar, but it's fine in this case. I believe, because ability to adapt, ability to work effectively. Um, well, actually, when I look at the ability to adapt to new and changing environments and the ability to work effectively in a business and sometimes difficult work environment, um, I think those two are very similar, just differently worded. So I might get rid of one of those. I would say that ability to adapt to new and changing environments is the more reliable one out of the two. And as I go further down, looks good. You were involved in a lot of activities and committees as well, as we can see here. And you wrote a little bit of a description of each of them, which is good. Okay, and received a lot of awards. And yeah, so I'd say this is a solid resume aside from maybe the length and something I would not really know how to edit it down, and I'm sure Miss Ambrosi can help with that because it's a very it's lengthy, and it's even though it's lengthy, it is very detailed, and all of these are accomplishments from you by you that you have gone through over the past 5 or probably 20 years, 30 years, and it's very important that they know that you are doing you were constantly out there, and it's good to see all these different things that you've done to improve yourself, and very impressive and noteworthy. And so I think that the next step would be just to maybe get some of the spell check just for miscellaneous, and try to take down. I wouldn't really know what to take down though, so like, cause like 7 pages could probably reduce to 5, but I wouldn't exactly know how to get you to 5 pages, because I'm not sure what's necessary to keep and what's not necessary to keep, and I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say about my resume as well. Thank you.